Hello, folks. This is Claude White yet again, and it is time for my Super Bowl prediction. And I've had a very good season, and I've done even better during the playoffs. During the playoffs, I was a robust 7-3. That's a lot better than a lot of other teams can say. But here we are, the final game of the 2019 season, Super Bowl 54. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, what I'm going to do, this will be rather quick. I'm going to break down each aspect as far as the quarterback position, the running backs, the wide receivers, the offensive and defensive lines, the linebackers in the secondary, and I'm going to tell you which team has the edge in those departments. And after that, I will evaluate that, and I will come up with my prediction for the game itself. Obviously, when it comes to the quarterback position, obviously you have to give the nod to the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is playing at a ridiculously high level. We know this, where Jimmy Garoppolo has been basically carried by his running game, which you have to say the running game of the San Francisco 49ers is the best in the business right now. So obviously, the quarterback edge goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the running back position, this is where the San Francisco 49ers shine. Now, I understand they do not have a running back that's gone over 1,000 yards, but they do have a very more than competent three-headed monster, which is led by Monstert, who used to be basically a special teams demon, but he has shined throughout the playoffs. Also, when you back him up with Tevin Coleman, and to a lesser extent, Matt Breida has fallen somewhat out of favor because he developed some fumbleitis, but he is still a very explosive back. I don't know if you will see him this particular Super Bowl, but he does have the speed to basically stretch the field and make big plays. But Tevin Coleman is very, very solid, and so is Mostert. And that offensive line definitely is among the best in the business. When it comes to the running backs, obviously, Derwin Williams is okay. I would give it more of a balance if Shady McCoy were playing, but more than likely he will be inactive. I have to give the edge, and a huge edge, to the San Francisco 49ers. The offensive line, both are very good. In fact, I'll just put it like this. The Kansas City Chiefs offensive line is very good. The San Francisco 49ers offensive line is outstanding. Obviously, being the pass-first team that Kansas City is, they are more of a pass-blocking offensive line, Now, the San Francisco 49er offensive line is much more balanced. And I tell you what, those guys are classic road graders. I mean, you can see the imprint that Shanahan has brought to that team. They are eerily similar to the old Denver Broncos offense, a run-first offense. Now, obviously, with Jimmy Garoppolo, you're not going to get the type of quarterback play that they had gotten with the Denver Broncos, or even to a lesser extent, the Atlanta Falcons, when Matt Ryan obviously was at the helm for Kyle Shanahan's offense. But I have to give a huge check for the offensive line. San Francisco, I will take that line over the Kansas City line. Now, the wide receivers, I would say that they're almost even, except, obviously, the Kansas City wide receivers are much quicker, and a huge part of that, of course, is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is just a pure speed demon. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Cliff Branch, but he's much more physical. I think he's a much better receiver in his prime than Branch was. Now, I'm not going to sell this San Francisco wide receiver short, because they have a very good receiving core. It's just that Garoppolo is very inconsistent. Emmanuel Sanders is very good. And I tell you what, that young man, Deebo Samuel, is going to be a superstar. And he's just now scratching the surface. It's a lot closer than people think, but I have to give the edge to Kansas City because of Tyreek Hill. It's much closer than a lot of people realize, though. Now we're going to the defensive side of the ball, and let's face it, when you're comparing the defensive lines. Now, Kansas City's defensive line is not terrible, especially when it comes to pass rushing. Chris Jones is a stud, but let's face it, the San Francisco 49er defensive line is full of first round draft, high first round picks. Those guys are relentless when it comes to not just stopping the run, but also getting after the quarterback. Listen, when you add up Buckner, Armstead, and of course Bosa, listen, it's not even close. Huge edge to the San Francisco 49ers. The linebacking core, they're both very solid. I have to give the edge again to the San Francisco 49ers. And of course the secondary. I tell you what, the safety position is just about a wash. You can make the case that as far as the safeties, you have to give the edge to Kansas City, especially the way the Honey Badger is playing right now. But when it comes to the corners, when it comes to the slot corner, it is very easy. The San Francisco 49ers have a huge edge over the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to that. Now, I believe that is going to be at the beginning of the game, is going to be much closer than people realize. And listen, San Francisco has more than a puncher's chance to win this football game. No question about it. But I don't believe that Jimmy Garoppolo can keep up with Patrick Mahomes. It's just that simple. And the worst part about it is Garoppolo will throw a pick or two at the most inopportune time. Now, against the other teams, you could get away with that because their offenses are not as potent as Kansas City's. You give Kansas City one or two more opportunities with the football, that's the ball game right there. I would love to be able to pick the San Francisco 49ers to win this game. I don't think it's an upset either way, to be quite honest. I do believe that top to bottom, top to bottom, the San Francisco 49ers are a better football team. Unfortunately, the huge edge at quarterback, I can't ignore it. I just cannot do it. I have to pick Kansas City to win this football game, and I will pick them to win 38-28 over San Francisco. That is my prediction. Please like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claude White. Take care, and God bless.